I have been fighting this talk for a week because it's called Right Here, Right Now. So how on earth could I possibly have gotten anything together 3 days ahead of time for something that can only take place right here, right now? So I was kind of letting it go and kind of stressing a little bit more. Very funny. So this month we've had live snakes in the room. Last week we had the sex talk. Never miss a Sunday. You don't know what I'm talking about. Never miss a Sunday. Don't worry, I don't think the snake's coming back. I don't think he had a good time. And then I was able to let that go when I realized I don't have to be Reverend Patty. I don't have to be Jacob Glass or Peter Boland. You don't want a great imitation of somebody else. Yeah. The world is not calling for us to be great imitations. It's calling for us to be authentic, to be ourselves, to be unique. What did he talk about? I don't know, but he sounded just like Peter Boland. Well, good for Peter Boland. What do I stand for? What did you get from me? So once I was able to let go of this had to be perfect, then I could be okay. When they asked me to do this talk, I was doing the foundation class. It was a couple months ago, and they were trying to cattle prod Patty into a day off, which is very difficult. And I said, yeah, I'll do it. And I said, what's the monthly theme? The greatest gift. And right in the middle of foundation, I thought, okay, what's the greatest gift? Right here, right now. That is what came to me for this talk title, because just like the song said, great song. Did you write that? No, it doesn't sound like something you would write. Right here, right now. It doesn't matter what came before. It doesn't matter what I just said. It doesn't matter what was in the pipeline to come. I can change it. I can direct it. I am one with the power and the presence and the joy and the grace within. Right here, right now. I am one with the infinite possibility. I love that Holmes quote. Principle is not bound by precedent. The only reason we think miracles don't happen is because we don't acknowledge them. We are absolutely available to shift and change all of this. Water to wine moment in a heartbeat. Change your thinking, change your life. Makes it sound so easy, doesn't it? Anybody got an idea how to do that? I got some ideas. I have a whole talk to give. How are we doing on time? Oh my God, you're kidding. That was only 30 seconds? Because I'm already done. No. The story. It's the stories in our head. That's what's holding us back. I'm not good at relationships. I'm not good at money. Well, here's why that's never going to work. Have you ever had somebody in this room tell you, that's fine, but I'm talking about reality here. You can keep that science of mind stuff. I'm talking about reality. No, you're not. You're making a reality. You're making reality. You're just shoving the infinite potential of life into that same old mold and calling it stuck. No, we're stuck. We get stuck in the story, in the past, in the way it's always been, in the way we're afraid to change from. Sure, this sucks, but at least I know the rules. If I go over there, I don't know what's going to happen. And that's the ego. The ego can only extrapolate based on what's happened. Ego takes what has happened in the past and projects probable futures based only on what's happened. It can never make the jump of imagination. It can never say that whoever won the lottery last night is going to come bursting through those doors and start throwing money around. But we can. Or I could go home and check that ticket and I'll start throwing money around. So when the story is always based on the past, we're stuck in it. And sometimes it's not our story. Ever open your mouth and your mother pops out? Should I hate that? It's not even mine. So we get to de-energize those stories. We get to look at them. And if you don't know what your story is, ask somebody. There's a good chance they'll tell you. Ask somebody in this room, maybe they'll tell you nicely. But watch the self-talk. Watch what comes out of your mouth unbidden. Well, that always happens to me. What was that? Well, it's that time of year to get sick. What was that? Anybody here want to buy into cold and flu season? No? Anybody having a problem with their economy? Good, because the economy doesn't exist. It's a construct. It's a mental construct. It's an idea. It's an idea somebody else had that some of us are buying into. Money doesn't exist, right? Money's a symbol. We have all collectively agreed that the little green pieces of paper with the pictures of dead people have value. And some of us are really invested in that story, that the little pieces of green paper with dead people pictures have value. It's a symbol. It is a symbol of the conscious connection to source. God is freedom. God is joy. God is abundance. When we know that we are one with our source, the manifestations and symbols of that connection begin to show up. Relationships, health, opportunities, money. There may be planets in this universe that don't use money. This is not one of them. And money's a lot like oxygen. When that's all you need, that's really all that's going to help. So I'm not saying money is meaningless. My landlord is not going to take smiles and prayers and good intentions in a couple days. She's going to want that money. But when we're hitting a roadblock, whatever it is, money's an easy one to talk about because money is the easiest thing in the world to manifest. Test it. If you can manifest a penny or a dime, you can manifest any amount of money you want because there is no big and little in God. God is a unified field of perfect intelligence, which knows only of itself and withholds nothing. There's no barrier, there's no hesitation, there's no block, there's no question. I am that I am, and it is done. And this is the truth of us, right here, right now. We go within, we touch that place of perfection within, and the situation changes. Love that Louise Hay quote. Which I didn't write down here. Oh, that would have been helpful. She's in here somewhere. Anyway, what she said was, I do not fix my problems. I fix my consciousness, and my problems take care of themselves. I do not fix my problems. I fix my consciousness, my problems fix themselves. Because everything begins in mind. Everything begins in the unseen realm of thought. That is always first cause. Everything in the physical manifest universe is effect. From the Big Bang right up to now to the inevitable heat death of the universe is effect. We never negotiate with effect. We never bargain with it. We never mess with effect. We observe it and we go back to cause. Cause is never altered by effect. Do not fix my problems. Fix my consciousness. My problems take care of themselves. So if we're looking around at the experience, like, yes, 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 no, yes, 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 no, that's fine. We can have the experience and go, that didn't work for me. I'm not happy with this. Right here, right now, begin to change it. Acknowledge it. Look for the quality of God. Money is never about money. Money is usually about freedom. It's usually about joy. It's about living in peace. Money is not money. Money is a symbol of consciousness. So what is not showing up in the way we want it to? Is it our health, our relationship status, the quality of our relationships, our jobs, our creativity, our opportunity? What is it that we're looking to change? And sometimes things are great. Sometimes we don't need to change anything. Life is good. What's this guy talking about? There's always another level of good. There are many mansions. Just because things are going well doesn't mean they can't get better. We are always available to be better. Life shows up on a sliding scale. From the infinitesimally small to the least amount of good to more good than you can possibly calculate. We are absolutely demonstrating at our level of acceptance and availability. That's the blessing and the curse. It is on us. We are the subjective reality through which God is pouring itself. So if it's not showing up as good enough, one, is that true? Is that our truth? Or are we holding our paper up next to somebody else's and go, I wish I could sing like that. I'm just such a terror. I'm awful. No, I'm not here to sing. Believe me, I am not here to sing. You're welcome. Now let's talk about all the things I can do that you can't. Can you make a lasagna? There we go. You can ask Larry. I make a mean lasagna. You still remember that. That was 10 years ago. So don't hold your paper up to your neighbors. Don't hold your paper up to your family's expectations. Well, you should have been owning property by now. Says who? Maybe I don't want to own property. Maybe I haven't thought about it. Well, you know, Uncle Jojo's doing so much better. Yeah, good for him. You know, who cares? So make sure that these expectations, what's working, what's not working, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, is us. We're defining our lives by what we want to have. Now, you're allowed to look around and go, ooh, that's for me. I like that. I want that. That's for me. And you can identify with that. But you look around and go, oh, everybody's doing so much better than me. Everybody, stop. Uniquely, personally, absolutely as us. That's all we're here to do. To be us. To be the best us we can be, whatever we're doing. If we're taking out the trash, we're doing the dishes, if we're sitting with a friend in pain or a stranger who's in pain, we can be there perfectly and absolutely, no matter what. I love the, did I write that one down? I got another great quote. I hope I wrote that one down. Oh, good, I did. T.S. Eliot said, at the still point, there is the dance. Right here, right now. At the still point, there is the dance. So what are we dancing? Creativity, power, passion, joy, fear, limitation, lack, somebody's idea of an economy. When we go within, right here, right now, we touch the grace, we touch the joy, we touch that place where spirit within us has never been touched by the world, where the unseen expresses. And we are absolutely available to alter the course of this experience, no matter what. Anybody ever have an instantaneous healing? Got a few people in the room? Yeah, that'll get your attention. Are you testing this law? Do we know what we mean when we say the law? I know we got some new people in the room. Maybe we need to do some 101. Nope, don't have a teaching symbol up. That's okay. So on the back wall, close enough. Thank you very much. So on the back wall in here, we have the circle with the V is called the teaching symbol. It doesn't have any unique or ooky names. It's just called the teaching symbol. The circle represents God. It's an ancient symbol of God. That was without beginning or without end. Everything within and without is divine, is God. At the top, we have the undifferentiated energy of God, the ideal. That's where those qualities of God that Janelle was singing about exist. Abundance, balance, beauty, joy, love, wholeness, unity, peace, power, order. At the bottom, I'm going to skip a step. At the bottom, we have the physical manifest universe. We have our experience of that. And in the middle is the law. The law is a principle, like gravity, like mathematics. You can't see the activity of you cannot see the law, but you can see the activity. I can't see gravity, but if I go to fly off the stage and I fall and break my ankle, you will have no sympathy for me because I should have known what gravity was. And electricity is the same way. It can cook the man, it can cook the man's dinner. There is a law, a spiritual law at work in our lives. We don't know what it looks like, but we know that it works. And we get to test it. So pick something. Everybody's going to go test the law this week. This is your homework. Pick something you have no resistance to. Being offered a beverage, running into a friend you have no heat on, or a color. And you say, within 2 days, I'm going to say it for you, by the end of the day on Tuesday, you will have an interaction with this thing that you have chosen, a color, running into a friend you have no heat on, or being offered a beverage, in a way that absolutely gets your attention in such a way it is undeniable that the law worked in your life. You say it, it is. And that's the law. And it shows up subjectively. Now, my beverage will probably be a Diet Pepsi. Now, I know there's a lot of coffee drinkers in the room. I don't want your beverage. I don't like coffee. And that's great, because that's uniquely me, and your beverage is uniquely you. So the law operates in our lives, and that's where we get personal. That's where, so if God is all freedom and all abundance and all power, why am I struggling to make rent? That story is clogging the law of your life, of what good is available to us. And that sucks. But the good news is you can change it. We are all available to go in and change those thoughts. It's just a thought. You know what a belief is, right? A belief is a thought you have. You see it acted on in the world. It's true. It becomes a belief. Big dogs are scary. You see a big dog bark or act aggressively. See, I told you, big dogs are scary. Now I have a belief around big dogs. We had a woman, and I have her permission to tell this story. She wanted her son, she was in one of the classes, she wanted her son to take a shower every night before bed. And she told him if he didn't, all the sweat and dirt would attract spiders, and spiders would bite him. Because she wanted him to take a bath before bed. And so one day they went to Disneyland or whatever, and it was late, and there was no time. They carried the sleeping kid in from the car. They just put him in bed. And a spider bit him and woke him up. He had a thought. He has seen that thought acted upon in the world. He now believes that if you do not shower before bed, spiders will bite you. And I do have her permission to tell that story. That's where these beliefs come from. And again, most of them come from us in early childhood. They may not be ours. Those of us who were the children of Depression-era parents or grandparents, anybody grew up with a cupboard full of food you weren't allowed to eat in case the bad times came? You really prayed there were no bad times because nobody wanted to eat that food? Oh my God. We're running around with old tapes, clogging our receptivity to the good of life based on past experiences, other people's experiences. Right here, right now, it doesn't apply. Right here, right now, you can clear it out. Look for the story, look for the pattern, the monotonous regularity. This again, I love that joke. I've been dating the same guy my whole life, different name, different face, different guy, it's the same guy. Or perhaps I've said too much. What else do I have here? And yet I'm aware of that pattern. I go, look, it's Dad again, hi. Hello, emotionally unavailable, physically distant person who's not going to be around long. It's nice to see you again. What was your name this time? I can be aware of that and know, well, I'm changing that. That pattern is not working for me. And you can apply it to you like, oh, this job again? My mother famously said to me, people are the same wherever you go. It's the same 5 people at every job I've ever had. And when I was a teenager, that was the most brilliant thing I ever heard. After I had a few jobs, you know what the constant there was? Her. She keeps manifesting the same 5 people at every job she ever had through her expectations. So again, if you're seeing these patterns show up at work, in your money, in your health, in whatever, well, it's cold and flu season and I've got writer's block. What? Well, I checked my astrology and because of no, right here, right now. One with the infinite, one with the perfect, one with the all. Peter Boland had a great quote that I hope I wrote down that I stole. I told you I've been fighting this talk. I wrote it all down, erased half of it, wrote it all down, erased half of it, because it all had to be fresh. This was a Peter Bolin thing he wrote the other day, and I stole it. You can tell him I stole it. No matter what the circumstances of your life, no matter what you've lost or are losing, there is always abundance raining down on you, boundless love surrounding you. If you don't see it, if you don't feel it, adjust. Right here, right now. If you don't see it, if you don't feel it, adjust. We are surrounded by an infinite field of intelligence. Core concept 1 of the Science of Mind textbook, God is all there is. One power, one energy. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was good. When did that change? Never. That Word did not go out and bump into something else. It's not God and the economy. It's not God and my ex. It's not God and cold and flu season. Those are constructs of our mind. Human race consciousness is operating throughout us. And we are inundated by an industry which makes a lot of money in selling us fear and then selling us cures for the fears they've created for us. Watch the commercials. Listen to my favorite one. Oh, this is the sound of your car being stolen. I haven't listened to the radio in years since that commercial. Drives my poor nephew crazy. Can we please put on some music? What's the matter? The silence getting to you, buddy? I like messing with him. Oh, don't tell him I said that. Edit that part out. He won't listen to this anyway. Right here, right now. So where are we going with it? What do you want? Mark Twain, I can teach anybody to get what they want. I've never met anybody who knew what they wanted. Clarity. I want to be in a healthy relationship. I want a healthy body. I want to be expressing a healthy weight. My weight's just a number. I can be healthy at a lot of numbers. I just want to express health. I want satisfaction at my job. I used to hate my job. I hated my job. I quit my job 3 times. And then I came to peace with it, and I realized, no, what I do matters. I found fulfillment in the job. Nothing there has changed but me. The job has not changed a bit. Exactly. So what do we want? And we state that word with conviction, with absolute conviction. The idea, the word, and the manifestation is one power, knowing only of itself. God is all there is. I am one with God. I speak this word now, knowing and accepting absolutely. One of my favorite Holmes quotes, spiritual realization is a law unto itself. Ignoring existing circumstances, being able to create new circumstances out of itself. That's the water to wine moment. Ignoring existing circumstances. The holy I am that birthed the universe is the power which is beating our hearts, thinking our thoughts, breathing our breath, showing up in our word. So we get clear. Are we satisfied? Are we willing to accept change in certain areas? Is something not working? We acknowledge it, we own it, and then we start to change it through affirmation, through prayer, through meditation, through clarity of our self-talk, and we watch the universe shift around us right here, right now, and life is good, always. And if it's not, adjust. Thank you very much.